You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the TLF, radio zone.
Morning, wherever you may be around the globe, in the chat room, on another planet, or on the other side. This is The Last Frequency, and I am Mike Vara, and I welcome all of you, wherever it is you may be. This broadcast is coming at you live from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina. I think the city with the most gigantic potholes, the east coast of the United States, even. The website, lastfrequency.com. Go on over, become a late nighter. Be informed, and by all means, inform others. All right, so I've got David Kaas joining me this week. I've kept it pretty easy and sweet this week because, well, this week I am actually doing as much signing as I can for 2024. So it should get me through, several months, and then, then I got to go back at it again. But that's what I've been working on, getting some of the best guests with the best information, and in the meantime, even bringing back some of the originals who are, like family here, like David Kaas, Dr. Rand, CC. He's not a guest, but he's definitely involved. Yeah, ready to ride. All right, David, I'm going to bring you on in just a few minutes. I actually skipped the news tonight. I didn't put together any news tonight because I wanted to just bring you on. But you know what? I do have to talk about one little incident that happened in my hometown of Rochester, New York, and some psychopath apparently loaded his car with explosives and then tried to drive into the Kodak building, where, as on Ridge Road West in Rochester, New York, it's a very busy area. And this Kodak building, apparently, I guess they have movie theaters and all kinds of stuff going on in there. And this psychopath was going for it. Well, it just so happens an Uber happened to be pulling off the curb as this nut was coming in. And instead of him going into the building where he would have killed a lot of people, he hit the car, killed a couple people. Several people were injured. And I don't know what's happened since with this psychopath. I don't know if I think he might have been in critical condition, so I don't know if he's gone to the great below yet or what. But boy, oh boy, haven't I been saying this? Have I not been saying this? That we're going to start seeing things like that. Did I not? I said these psychopaths are going to start strapping up. I don't know how I see these things. I'm not psychic. I'm not opening up a psychic line here, but it's so easy to read between the lines. It really is, for me, anyways. I just, I can see this stuff like I could see a hand, if I look at it. It's Wednesday night. We are live. And I'm looking forward to talking with David here in a few minutes. I'm a little messy in the back here. I've got some stuff that came in the mail, and got a big old box behind me. I got to tear that apart when I get done with the show tonight. And I got that my map, my board over here on the other side, and I'm trying to find a good spot to hang it on the wall, but so far unsuccessful. One of these walls is, blocks, so it's kind of hard. And that's where I want it, of course, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. So, yeah, that's my news. Psychopaths trying to drive into Kodak buildings and kill many people. Not good, not good. So, I don't mind staying home, especially nowadays. Don't mind at all. All right, so David Kaas joining me here in just a few minutes. Now, I've got, YouTube had hit me, not struck me, but they warned me about one of the tunes apparently I played last time was a no-no. And I thought they all came from YouTube's playlist, but I could be mistaken. So I'm going to run them all again tonight and try to figure out which one it is when they hit me again. So it's about, I won't always be doing this. Sometimes I'll be muting you for the music because I got to have my bumper music sometimes. I can't just, I like this music too. That's why I have it in my collection. I think it's good for the mood, but you just don't know at YouTube. It's just, I got to get I understand now they're even accepting music licenses, so I got to look into that, because if that's the case, then we could do something there. All right. Well, let me take this break already. I know, right? Listen, I get out of work. I have to drive through horrible traffic all through from Lexington, South Carolina, right through Columbia to get where I am. And then I get home and I've got to scarf something down really quick to hold me over through the show. And just get everything ready. It's just not easy. It's not easy. And, boy, I don't know when I'm 90 if I'll still be running around like this. But in the meantime, here we are. You're listening and you're watching The Last Frequency on the VARA network. David Kaas joins me next. Don't go away. I wonder if it's this one. Time shall tell.
Columbia.
Excellent.
Your talk station.
Hey, frequencies of all walks of life. Keep up with all things TLF Radio by joining our mailing list. Go to the bottom of the homepage and fill in the form. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So sign up now.
You're listening to the VARA Network.
Frequencies around the world. Listen up. The shop is here, and you can order TLF radio swag right now and show your friends and neighbors you're awake by wearing one of our many shirts. We have coffee mugs, clocks, so never miss your favorite shows, books, mouse pads. Just go to thelastfrequency.com and click the shop link. That's thelastfrequency.com and get to shopping.
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
You heard me. Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
For all your bumper sticker needs, just click on the Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers banner located at the foot of my website, www.lastfrequency.com. That's Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers and more.
You're making me crazy.
Walmart shoppers
How about you spend your money in a useful manner? Try a last frequency subscription. It's pennies on the dollar, and you expand your mind and expand your imagination. Beats hearing crying kids and whiny Karens at lastfrequency.com. It's theater for your mind.
I love this damn show because he's not going to take it anymore. So turn off the other crap and pull up a darn seat, will you?
Tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours of mind-blowing radio and TV. The Last Frequency covers everything.
You're listening to the wonderful Vara Network.
This is
The Last Frequency.
You Are the Resistance.
Do you have a thirst for knowledge and a curiosity for the unknown? If you answered yes, then you need to tune into The Last Frequency radio show with veteran talk radio host Mike Vara. The Last Frequency is a talk radio show that covers everything from UFOs, paranormal, Bigfoot, forbidden archaeology, government cover-ups, and much more. The Last Frequency is live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern on lastfrequency.com. You can also watch the show on Rumble, but if you want to get the full experience and access a much wider archive of past shows, you need to become a subscriber. As a subscriber, you will be part of the resistance and support independent media. Don't miss this opportunity to join the Last Frequency community and get informed, enlightened, and entertained. Subscribe today and get ready for the ride of your life. Because when all communications go down, this just may be your last frequency.
From the great Southeast, in the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, you're listening to The Last Frequency with your host, Mike Vara. To get questions to Mike, just go to the portal page on the website or give a call at 803-369-3629. Now, here is Mike Vara.
Site lastfrequency.com. Become a late nighter. Be informed, inform others. Listen, you may think, oh boy, Mike's mellowed out, you know. No, Mike hasn't mellowed out. Mike does 2 shows now. One is The Last Frequency, and I'm trying to get it on these other outlets that are censoring for reasons of, for monetization. Try to pull something in, for crying out loud. And in the meantime, I do Uncensored on Saturday, and I'm going to tell you what, I let go. I don't give a damn on Saturday. It's on Rumble, and I don't get messed with over there, and I could just let it go. I could talk about all the things I want. I could talk about the jabs. I could talk about the government, the elections. I could talk, all that stuff can be talked about freely over there. Unfortunately, over here, it's a little bit different. Yeah, they'll destroy you over here. They don't want you to talk about their buddies, and I'll just leave it there. All right. So, anyways, David Kaas is joining me excuse me, in just a moment. And I have I told him, well, actually, he's ready now, so we could just bring him on. He said he is ready to ride. Clear your up. Yeah, okay. I thought he said clear up. Oh, no. Why is that coming on there? All right, let's get rid of that. Sure, it comes up when I don't want it to. All right, let's go ahead and call. Maybe David's going to do video. I don't know. If he does video, I'll bring him up on video, but we'll see. Actually, he's ready. Hello, Mr. Kaas. There he is.
Ready? Michael.
Yeah, there's that handsome mug. Hey, so, welcome aboard, buddy.
Nice to be here, Mike.
Thank you. I hear us a little bit in the background.
Yeah, I gotta shut that off.
Maybe David's gonna make sure it's not me too. No, I don't think it's me. Let's see.
I think it's me.
Yeah, it is. I gotta make sure.
Yep. Well, how's your new year going so far?
So far, so good, and I can't tell you how many people during the day, say, "Hey, Happy New Year," and they go, "Hopefully this one's going to be a little better," and they wink, 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 and we know what they're talking about. But I don't think it's going to get any better this year. Do you?
No, I don't. I seriously don't. We got 9 million immigrants in the country right at the moment, and they're getting more's coming. So it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, it's loaded, man. And I mean, with the numbers they give you, you can count on it being probably much, much more. So when I hear 10 million, I think 20 million.
Oh yeah. It's
easily.
I can't believe the way the way they're processing them. They're just putting them on buses or airplanes and shipping them all over the country. And it's like, I don't understand why we're allowing them in the country in the first place. It's like they should turn them around and hold them there or something.
Well, I know why, but I can't really say too much about it on this show. But I know why. It's got to do, it's a hopeful of amnesty and then votes. I think it's got to do with those two things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see what's going to happen soon. I think it's an inevitable outcome, and I don't think it's going to be a good one. I don't think it's going to be a favorable one. So,
no, I don't either, and I feel sorry for those border towns that are dealing with this right now. I've heard people saying they've been threatened by cartel. I mean, they
are. They are. Yeah. And it's not just the cartel. I mean, it's so they can run the fentanyl through and the child trafficking and everything else. So it's a big mess. It's a big mess.
It is.
But thank you for having me on tonight.
No,
I'm just about ready to release my new farm physics on the Kindle publishing company. Ryan Cooper's my editor, and I have a few new chapters in it, and I wanted to talk about one of them here tonight with you.
Awesome.
And that's the people get acupuncture. Have you ever had that?
I haven't, but I've always wanted to give it a shot.
Well, when I broke my left arm, I got acupunctured for a few months. I go into a little shop and they sit you down and stick needles in your arm, and you lay there for a half hour or an hour, and they take them out and you go home. And I did that for a few months, and it was quite interesting. My insurance paid for that. Your insurance will pay for that. And
I call it preventive maintenance.
Well, I've been south spinning my fluids for 25 years, and I think that's made a difference. But I was always thinking to myself, wonder what all this acupuncture's for. I mean, wonder what it affects and how it works. And now our insurance will pay for it for you.
Yeah, I wear electric beings, and so that it has something to do with changing the currents in our bodies.
Right. Well, what I figured out was what it takes out of your system And sometimes they stick the needles in you and put a little piece of incense on the end that's smoking. And,
I don't know if I'd want that.
well, that's what Steven Seagal did in one of his movies.
Well, he was a badass, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. But anyway,
put incense on the end of mine.
Right. But what I figured out to do is to make they look like wands, WANDS, and they have a quartz crystal on one end, and inside they have a large magnet. A magnet costs you like $30, maybe a little bit more, for a big magnet to slide right inside your wand, and then you put the cap on with the quartz crystal in it, and you hold this wand crystal in your hand, so it activates the quartz crystal, and then you have the magnetic pull on the other end. You stroke your ankle, up your leg, up your back, wherever you're aching at, actually, and it goes all the way up around your head, down both shoulders, to your arms, and what you're doing is you're removing the left spin electron from your area that you're stroking, and this is right where they put the needles at for the acupuncture. So
now, how'd you figure this one out? Tell me where it comes from.
Well, what happens is when we eat food every day, our stomach digests it, and in the digestion process, it separates the north-spun electrons and the south-spun electrons. Only the south-spun electrons go with the blood to refuel our south-spun cells. The north-spun electron from our stomach gets stored out on these meridian trails, which run from your toes up to your fingers, around your head, over and over, again and again, every day as you're eating food. And this is what the aging effect is. And this is what the acupuncture needles are supposed to, take off your system, but it can't really do that much effectively. But this wanding will make you feel better, and with time, I'm working at it now. I think it'll make a big difference in my my body's functioning every day to day. So anyway, these are what they look like. I got a couple of them right here. You can see them in the camera.
Oh, yeah.
They're round on one end, and they have a quartz crystal on the other end. And then I use these, like I say, just to go around and around my system all over, and it really helps, and it does make a big difference. The other thing is one of these quartz crystals. This is the Eye of Horus, so to speak, and you put this on the other hand, and you use them together, and it really does make a difference in an hour or two every night while you're watching TV or whatever you're doing.
So what does it do for you? What is it?
Well, it removes the left spin electron, which is the gravity weight of our bodies as we age or as we eat more and with time. And that's what makes you inactive or not so active in your elderly age. But by wanding yourself from your ankles all the way up your back, around your neck, every day, it relieves these left spin electrons that are collecting from your digestive tract every day, from your body. Like I say, it's the same meridian trails that they stick the acupuncture needles in for.
Now, if you're on the other side of the planet, do you still south spin, or do you do it the other way?
Oh, you always south spin everything wherever you're at.
Right.
Even when we go into outer space, we still will be south spinning our fluids, because you want to make the fluid just like your body is. So before you drink it.
So speaking of outer space, David, how far out in space have we gone, do you think? I hear we don't go nowhere, some people tell me.
I think we've gone all the way to Mars. I think we got miners there since the 1970s. I've been watching a few videos lately that say that that Werner von Braun guy that was with the original NASA and whatnot, he was one of the ones that set up this space research that got us to Mars and even beyond there. Because I don't know, I think we may have made contact with these alien beings a long time ago. It's just they keep it on the down low in our government and whatnot. And we've been negotiating with them, in these underground military bases and everywhere else. And we're kind of stupid at the moment. That's what's actually going on, and the more that comes out, the more I'm becoming wary of.
I think it's exactly like the movie They Live. I think that they're amongst us, and if we could see what they really looked like somebody like Pelosi or something, you take she reminds me of the woman in that movie. Remember, she says we have one who can see. I don't know if you remember that with They Live. Yeah, she was in the store and she seen that he could see her for who she was, and and he told her she was ugly. Yeah, so.
Well, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder.
It is. I mean, as I get older, I see that myself. It's like, we're not what we used to be, David.
No, we aren't.
But if we keep South spinning, we can at least feel like we are, right?
No. If you keep South spinning everything before you drink it for just 13 seconds, in a while, you'll notice what I've noticed. You'll start to physical comeback, and you'll start to get lighter feeling or younger feeling and healthier feeling rather than older and grayer and less active like most everybody is.
You got to start put them in production. Make soft drinks that are South Spin already, and put them in the cans and get them in all the Walmarts.
Okay, this last week or last month, I've been listening to a lot of those ads that say that puts nitrogen in your water.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, and then I meet a guy at work. He's got nitrogen bottle and whatnot. So.
Well, you know what? You got to be careful too. You get too much nitrogen here and nitrogen there. Who knows what you'll open up in your body?
Well, I finally saw Elon Musk has one for sale for like $60. So I bought it the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for it to get here, and I'm going to see if nitrogen water under the South Spun effect tastes or makes a difference. And like in 30 days, I want to keep drinking because I got an old body. I got a 68-year-old body here, and I'm not all up to snuff.
Darn, David, I'll tell you what, you don't look like you're 68. You look like, honestly, you look like you might be around 51, 52. That's what you look like to me.
Thank you. That's how deceiving our eyes can be, because if you knew what I've been through in my life, having one kidney removed and then 3 weeks in a coma state from a brain aneurysm and everything else, it's like I've been through the mill. But thank you for the compliment.
You bet. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. I mean, it's great that you bounce back from those things because those are tough. When you couldn't, I know, because when I had my heart attack 9 years ago, you're left with question marks for at least a few days.
Well, yeah, but you know how you felt. It's like you don't got any choice.
Yeah,
it's like get back on the horse and ride it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was. It was like you could either sit here and pity me, or you could just go on. When it's your time, it's your time.
Sure. Sure.
When you call my number, I guess I'm ready to go whenever. I'd like to stick around a while, but
Right. Well, in 7th grade, I was a little young to give up, so I got back on the horse and kept riding.
Wow. Which one? What happened in 7th grade? Now is that the?
Oh, that's when I had my kidney removed.
Oh, poor you, man.
Yeah, that was a hard one. But at 22, I had my 3-week coma from a brain aneurysm, and when I woke up from that, I was really, really pretty tired out from the struggle. So
now, what caused that? Were you like a party animal or no?
No. It was just because I've always the problem was my mother had 2 miscarriages before she had me, and she had taken some doctor's drugs which were supposed to help her, and it caused my body the north spun electrons from the south spun electrons from her body that are causing the embryo to develop. The north spun electrons are supposed to be taken in the placenta of the woman at when the child's born. but instead it wasn't connected electrically. So I had all those north spun electrons on my body as it was creating my south spun embryonic, form. So when I was born like an old man. I had a big neck and I was just slow. I couldn't do much. So it was interesting. It's been interesting. But now since I've got these wands and these crystals and I'm working it off, it's amazing to feel normal for the first time in my life.
Yeah, but what is normal, right? I mean,
well, normal is just you feel good when you walk down the street. You feel good when you're standing around waiting, for the bus to come. You feel normal.
Yeah, well,
I see a lot of people that are aching and crotchety everywhere.
If you live in my neighborhood, you don't walk down the street. You move quick, get where you're going. Tell you, Columbia is it's changed a bit here. It's it's.
Well, it's not the same, but
No,
you need to get one of those. What I saw on TV the other night, or it was on the internet. I can't remember. It's one of these new guns that they're not lethal. They shoot like a projectile. It shoots pretty hard. It shoots pretty hard, but it doesn't kill you, And they're selling it to women and whatnot. Had a pink gun and a green gun and yeah.
I still prefer the ones that assure you're not going to talk back.
Yeah. I understand.
But but if you're in one of those places where it's really tough to get your hands on something like that because the laws or what have you, then maybe getting one of those instead. Right. Yeah, non-lethal. I'll tell you what, you hit them in the groin with it, and it's going to be lethal.
Well, I think you probably break their jaw if you hit them in the jaw with it or whatever. But I mean, it's like it won't kill them like a round will.
And they won't know. They'll feel the pain from getting hit. They'll think they really got shot. You know how that is in the heat of the moment.
Right. Well, store owners out here have been getting money and stuff stolen from in broad daylight because people come in with the ski masks on, And these store owners, jewelry store owners and gun shop owners, they pull these guns out and they use them on the intruders, and it's pretty funny. It's all on camera, It's been I think it's interesting.
I got a friend who I work with. He's from India, and I told him, I says, what happens if people come into the store in India and they start acting a fool? He says they get stick and they beat you, never do again. He says.
Right. Well, that's more social justice, Yeah. And I believe in that to a degree, I
did too. I think, back when I was a kid, if I went down the street, I'm in the neighborhood and I'm doing something stupid, neighbor could come out, get me by the ear and take me home. And my parents weren't going to say, why'd you touch my son,
Right.
Yeah.
My dad would say, what did you do, David?
Oh, yeah, my dad
would bring
would
you home by the ear.
He'd say, get in this house, you SOB. Don't you dare disturb the neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
It was a different time.
Yeah. Well, there was different things going on back then, too,
Yeah.
The problem we have nowadays is more than just one problem, and we've got to recognize it. It's like not something we can deal with by just electing like Donald Trump again. He's not going to be able to fix all these problems.
Nobody is. It would take all the people, and it's just it's one of those things. Now YouTube don't like when you talk about unity, so be careful.
Okay.
But no, bottom line, you're right. One man is not going to be able to fix this. Maybe ease the pain for 4 years, but then what happens?
Right. I read tonight where if it crosses into Canada illegally, it'll be a $5,000 fine. If you cross into Iran illegally, it's 8 years in prison.
Wow. And if you cross into the United States illegal, you get food stamps, hotel, transportation anywhere you want to go. And I don't know what else.
College.
Everything, you name it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, we've all got to see this and recognize it and for what it is, because that we're all coming to that realization sooner or later. Even the representative, the governor of Missouri, they just passed a 2401 Esquire order to ban all foreigners from owning property there. I guess China's been coming into Missouri and buying up farmland and whatnot. So I just saw that on the news tonight. But it's tough, They don't know who to allow in for what and who to keep out for what,
Well, I think the best thing we could do right now, but it's not going to happen, but the best thing we do is totally close the borders right down. And then we would need massive, massive units to go and start removing people. But, that's, and again, that stuff's not popular over here on this platform. But, it's the truth.
Right.
But it's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not in 2024. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, well, 2024, now that we're in it.
Happy New Year, by the way, David.
What's that?
Happy New Year, by the way.
Thank you. Well, I do my New Year's 2 weeks before the Passover. That's a sacred New Year, but I recognize both New Years.
It's just a number to me. So.
Yeah, but who calls the numbers?
Yeah.
I figure I better acknowledge God's numbers first before I acknowledge anybody.
Yeah, but, and I don't think we're accurate anyways. Who's to say it's really 2024? To be honest with you, I mean,
right.
I heard some things are off.
Oh, everything's off. Everything is off.
Yeah. But we'll go along with it and say, okay, 2024 it is. Because, I mean, it only matters on Earth, so.
Well, it only matters for the moment. I've always wondered if our planet does do a 70-degree adjustment, and maybe we'll have a blackout for 3 days. They talk about that, and if other things could happen, such as an asteroid impacting, they're saying the planet, but I think it's going to be the moon. A lot of things could just screw up your count of days, and you might have to start over.
That would definitely screw up the day.
I mean, who's to say what day it is?
Well, exactly. I mean, really.
Who's to say? So it's kind of like it's an arbitrary day, isn't it?
Have you ever been out of work for a little while and just doing things like when I was doing the show and I didn't have job, and there'd be times I would take a week or two off for vacation, and I remember times just waking up and not knowing what day it was and what the date was and not caring either. Boy, you know how nice that is.
Well, like if you go to Hawaii for a week or two, or if you go anywhere for a couple of weeks, you just don't even want to be in this modus of operandi. You want to get out. You want to, be free.
Yeah. I tell you what, I can't stand being in the corporate world, working in the corporate. It's a doggy dog, man, and you're just a number. It's not like when you ever worked at a mom and pops or something like that. It's like you're almost like family. You get in these big places, and they're all about the money and the greed, and you're just a number. You'll replace you just like a machine part.
Well, it's kind of like Catholic, Christian, Muslim, Jewish religions. They've served a purpose, all this, for the last 1,000 years or even better. But nowadays, they don't know God any better than you or me, Mike. And how do they get away with what they do every Sunday or Sabbath? It's like they take the money from the people and they just bless them and give them penance or whatever.
I love it. They come through with these long poles with a net on the end of it. Put your money in. And, and some do it differently, but I know the Catholic Church does that. And here they got churches that look like castles, and I mean, they're living La Vita Loca, and it's like, how much more money do you need?
It's bad. It's really bad. But my hat's off to them. They got the best con game going for the longest time of
They
any
do,
time.
but some of these churches, I will say this, I know my daughter goes to a church that's, they do that. They collect money, but they also go to like places like Africa, and they help people with AIDS and stuff like that. So they do good with it, But then there's the big ones, the ones. Those are the ones, and these TV people too.
Well, the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, over in Rome, Italy, that's the big seat where they got all the old files and it's like a city in itself. It's like a city in itself.
Would you like to spend a little time in that library over there at the Vatican? We probably wouldn't be able to read half the stuff.
No, but I'd love to go through it.
Oh, yeah. But you got down that basement, I'm afraid you wouldn't come back up.
I used to do that in libraries. I used to get a special card written up so I could get down in the basement and sit down there for a couple hours and read the old books. But, but the Catholic Church is the worst of them all. And if you just look back historically, as to the times and what was going on in the year, 1250, they're still putting people on the cross and all kinds of other terrible stuff.
Oh yeah, wishes and all that good stuff,
Right. Another additional piece to my book that I put in one chapter is a part about King Henry VIII. And did you know that King Henry VIII, he was married several different times. One of his wives was Anne Boleyn. He had her executed for adultery. And then Catherine of Aragon, she got executed for adultery as well.
So when he wanted to get rid of him, he just says adultery, kill him.
Yeah. I want these, have their heads chopped off or whatever. Anyway, the Church of England got in an uproar at their own king, King Henry VIII, because he was doing this. And plus, he was famous for his 7-day parties and whatnot, where he'd be drinking wine and everything and jousting on horseback and whatnot. Anyway, the Church of England got in an uproar at him. And so he said, okay, he goes, you guys don't like it? I quit the church. I'm starting my own. And so King Henry started his own faith. And one of the tenements to his faith was that all men were required to come to the castle and pay a tax. And for this tax that they paid, they would receive a piece of parchment with a circle with his head in the center. And around the outside of the seal, it would say, fornicate under the consent of the king. Printed around the border. And then the men would get this piece of parchment and they'd roll it up, put it in their pockets, and they'd go out at night and they meet a woman. The guy would pull out the piece of parchment and say, hey, honey, you want to fornicate under the consent of the king? And the girl would say, hey, that's a great idea. Let's go take a roll in the hay. So that's in one of the chapters of my book where that word came from historically, and let people know just what's really going on.
Yeah, all right. And so when's this book just came out, or it's going to be out?
It's coming out soon on Kindle Publishing. I'm just, I got to proofread it and give them the okay, and the cover's been designed and it's all ready to go. So I'm waiting here twiddling my thumbs.
Someone in the chat here said, I think they're referring to King James you were just talking about. He says he even changed things just to get divorced.
Yeah.
Well, nothing says divorce more than cutting her head off, right?
Well, I don't know. Who knows? If I was married to King Henry VIII, I wouldn't jack around at all.
I wouldn't get married to no king, just knowing the power they have to, I'd want to stay as far away from the king as I possibly could.
Well, in that day and age, I think the females all wanted to marry, a man of good standing. But then the trouble was he couldn't have children with these women. So he would accuse them of adultery and have their heads cut off and get a new one and try it with her, see if he could have a child or not, you know. So I don't think he left any male heirs to his throne. I'm not sure. I can't remember whether he did or not, but that was part of the problem.
Oh, so he had erectile dysfunction.
Exactly.
A little something like that, yeah?
Yeah, it was a problem for him. Yep, but in the old days, Mike, I think we would have had a good time doing the jousting and drinking wine and.
I don't know. It really don't seem like an error for me. I'm really not into the violence, you know, the off with his head stuff. Because I have a big mouth. I'd be one of the ones the head be rolling down the pyramid stairs, you know.
You might be locked in stocks.
Yeah, that too. I could be down, you know, God only knows. So I just wouldn't have liked those times unless I could go back in time and bring like a machine gun with me, and then I'm good, you know.
You wouldn't have been one of the Knights of Christ of the Temple of Solomon, one of those Knights Templar.
Yeah, Knights Templar, huh? Hey, so someone asked about Saturday. Saturday I do uncensored at 12 midnight. So Eastern time. I do it from 12 to 2, and this week I'm going to have Dr. Rand on with me, and I think Brian Frank will be on with me as well. And we're just, I had to separate. I have to, you know, because, you know, people who like what we do here tune into this. People who like the other deal, you know, they tune into that. It's just, you know, I have to go off. I have to have an outlet, and so that uncensored's it. Anyways,
well, it gives you a little variety too. Time, you know, you can.
Yeah, and I get to get a lot off my chest, and you know, it's not like, you know. And here I'm just trying to cooperate with these some of these outlets right now, and just, you know, I should, like Late Night in the Midlands when I first started that, it was meant to be a paranormal type show. It wasn't supposed to go political at all, but when, you know, things got bad, I couldn't help it. I can't keep quiet when I see that not so much good stuff is going on. And so, you know, things happen, but I'm trying to separate it a little here because I'll tell you, it's since 2016, it's been a kick right in the, you know what, all the censorship and stuff, but.
Right. Well, but you know, the YouTube is doing a really a good job of censoring and trying to keep the whole flock together. That's just an incredible amount of information they have to deal with daily, and I have my hats off to them from the start. I put my information on there about the South Spun Fluid concept about 10 years ago, and I got my election campaign videos on there as well as Rumble, but I've been watching, Mike, and lately there's been a lot of talk on the news about the finding of and holding responsible different people on camera for ballot harvesting, but also illegal ballot stuffing of the
exactly
system.
And this is the stuff we should be allowed to talk about on any outlet because it's stuff that matters, that needs to be spoke about. But you get an outlet like one of the outlets I'm on tonight, I'll mention no names, and you know, something like that, they can say, oh, you're giving out this info, even though it's not this info. They'll say it is, and you can't fight with them. I mean, there's nothing you could do. They're just going to make whatever decision they want. And there's, you know, they say, oh, you can appeal. You appeal, and 2 seconds later it comes back, oh, we've reviewed the appeal. Yeah, of course you did, AI. Of course you did.
Well, I believe I've always voted. You know, all my life I voted every 4 years, and I always thought that my vote would count with the majority. You know, to whatever degree. But with the problem with the Diebold and the Dominion machines is Georgia has determined that neither company can run their elections this next time, and I'm waiting to see whether they do the hand-counted ballot down there, because that's what we should be doing all
Paper
over.
ballots. That's right. It should be paper. Yes.
Right, and hand-counted, and you could do it under scrutiny of camera, and you could even do it with military intervention to make sure you got a good count. But we need the hand-counted ballot, and because the machines have turned out to be just like Las Vegas slot machines. They just, you can set them and they don't give you an accurate count every time. So that's where we're at with the voting.
And it was shown that they can go online, and and so they could be Wi-Fi'd and tampered, and I'll leave it there. But yeah, absolutely. Everyone knows how I feel. If you don't, go listen uncensored. Go listen back to earlier shows. I cooperate for to a degree. I mean, I don't like being censored anywhere, and I don't like being on any outlet that censors me. Unfortunately, until something's done about it. I mean, it's like everywhere you go, except for a few places. Rumble, X. So far, those have been pretty good about not censoring. I mean, I haven't had no problems there.
Well, as long as we're talking about legitimate things, and we're not.
But you can't. That's the problem on some of these other outlets. You can be talking about legitimate things, but it's stuff that the government told them they don't want them to let go through, and so they nail it. I mean, just like look, the Twitter files that came out and all that stuff. I mean, that's happening everywhere. It wasn't just Twitter. Yeah, so there's a little man behind the curtain somewhere, saying nope, they shouldn't hear that.
Well, remember, Mike, back about 4 years ago when we were all thinking Hillary Clinton, she's against Donald Trump, and we got to do something against her, and everybody's focus was on her. Now they've gone down the whole list: Sturzak, Page, Comey, I mean Brennan, and everybody. The senators, the congressmen, all the way up to Joe Biden. The whole bunch of them are all crooked as they come.
Well, I've always
just
felt
Hillary Clinton anymore.
Well, I've always felt that way. I mean, yeah, because they get in there and they don't have practically a pot to what in. And then when they leave, they're building mansions and putting walls around their mansions, But anyways, I'm glad I'm not a politician. I couldn't deal with it. I'd get in trouble. I'd probably throw swings at people. I just, I wouldn't be able to handle being if I was on one of these media outlets and they're just blatantly lying to my face. It'd get ugly. So it's best that I'm not involved. But, so I'll do the best I can just being, voting and such. And we'll see. I mean, if everything goes well this time and there's no hanky-panky going on, fine. If I don't know. I think there's going to be problems. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't really heard on the television set or seen any of the. I'm kind of following the political candor they're all putting forth in Iowa, but that's the first starting point. I guess.
Yeah, with this Nikki Haley stuff, please spare me. I mean, she's right there with Pence as far as I'm concerned. The two of them can get on a ferry boat and go far, far away. Find that edge of the flatness and just go off.
Well, what I like about the coverage nowadays is they show enough of the person that they can't put on a face for the camera all the time. So we're seeing that these candidates are a laugh. They're a joke. They really aren't.
When they're having these debates, they remind me like little kids. They're over talking to each other and no, that's not true. And they're just. It's like I just want to walk out. I mean, I want to put them all in a corner and tell them, you're going to stand in timeout. You know, because that's what they remind, just like little children. Just it's embarrassing, to be honest with you.
Well, I saw Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis the other night with Sean Hannity sitting there asking him questions, and neither of them were real impressive.
And why would Sean even put something? I mean, why? I mean, what is it? What is it gaining? What is it helping? Neither one of them are going to be president, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Well, it's a distraction. It's a distraction.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And you know, I don't really want Donald Trump to run again and get it, because I think that's a distraction.
Oh, I do. I want 4 more years, and I want him to put.
He's
the hammer
only
down.
he's the only one that could, if anybody could, But
well,
we got a bunch of rummies in there for politicians. There's nobody that looks good.
Look, and I'll tell you what. After this time coming around, I don't know. I don't trust anybody. It's Trump. I think if he got in there, he's gonna really lay the hammer down, because I mean somebody has to. But he'll only be in there for 4 years, and he's only gonna be able to do so much. As president, yeah, you could do a bunch of executive orders, but then the next guy comes in and they just do executive orders to cancel your executive orders. And so, unless you could put it into law, it's only a temporary fix.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe we're going to have some upsets here.
I'm just going to sit back and watch and see what happens. And in the meantime, I'm going to get ready for the apocalypse, to be honest with you, because, I get ready for the purge. It's coming.
How long do you think professional football is going to last?
Hopefully long enough to get through one more Super Bowl, at least.
Listen, this last weekend, there was so many fluky plays on the field, and so many called plays that it got almost to the point where both teams are in arms against the referees. And what it appears to me is that the bookies in Vegas are setting up the games through the referees.
See, now that's where I would think. People who try to say the players are doing it,
no.
These players are getting paid a lot of money.
Right.
They don't need to pull any punches like that. And, you're in there, you're sacrificing your body, and they are. They want to win. They want to win a championship, bragging rights. Now it's the referees who have all the power. It's like, touchdown, oh no, flag, can't have that score. That's going to put it to the over, and we got to keep it under. Yeah, I know.
That's what's really going on, because those bookies, they're talking about billions of dollars.
Oh yeah,
on Sundays betting. So it's like that's why they're throwing the games to the left or the right, because it depends on where the bets are at.
And listen, I challenge anybody to go back, and this has been going on for a while. You can go back to 1992, the Super Bowl between the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Redskins. Now, I'm not a crying Bills fan. I'm telling you what happened. You can go watch it yourself. When the receivers were going to catch the ball, before the ball would even get in their hands, before it even touched their hands, the Redskin cornerbacks were knocking the receivers right out of the air. Interference all the way. And the officials weren't calling a thing. The second half, they started actually playing fairly, and the Bills almost, they started coming back, but there wasn't enough time. But you'll see this time and time again. They did it to, I think, the 49ers. I remember the Raiders and the Patriots one year. It was a snow game. The winner goes to the Super Bowl, and the Tom Brady fumbled the ball, and they said that he was throwing it. He wasn't throwing it. It fumbled, but they went ahead with it anyways, because there's people in Vegas who want it that way.
Sure. And that is the reason behind it. That's a real good reason for somebody to win or lose a game. If there's like $1 million or more.
Oh, well, yeah. But I mean, the players, if you're like, say you're Tom Brady who gets $200 million to play, you'd have to put a hell of a lot out there to Brian. He cheated on his own, that guy. Deflate the footballs. Belichick would go and watch to get spies out there to watch the teams. Remember Spygate? There's all kinds of foul crap going on. It's like a soap opera.
What about that sticky stuff that guy had on his hands?
Yeah. The receivers they put gloves on that have, they're like, stick 'em. Yeah.
Yes. Like.
Yeah, they go, what a spectacular catch. Well, yeah, put duct tape on my hand and I'll get a spectacular catch too.
Yeah. It's all a big show.
Well, you know what? I don't want to take away from these guys are athletic. I mean, I couldn't stand with them for 5 minutes. I know that. They'd eat me alive, but.
Well, listen, Mike, this is where our military is lacking. Is in all of our best are playing sports. They should be in our military, leading our men around.
And here's another problem.
Man up.
You got a quarterback who makes $200 million. You've got a military man who's putting his life on the line, possibly getting his legs blown off of his body, and he's making what? Pennies on the dollar? Police officers. I mean, you go even, I don't know, nurses. I mean, we can keep going. I mean, there's people who I think would be much more worthy of a high pay like that. I mean, to play a kid's sport, I mean, God bless them. I mean, they're doing it and they're making money, but I would love to get $200 million to throw a football around.
Yeah. I've always wondered, why in this day and age are people still, walking around with loaded weapons and having to guard places. You know
what I would do, David, if I owned a team? I'd like to, if I was rich, if I won some huge lottery and I could buy an NFL team, I'd surprise them all. I'd get in there, I'd fire everybody on the team, and I would have walk-ins, street walk-ins. It's like, I'm going to give you guys a few $1,000s a week to play, and I'd bring the pace, find the best guys on the street that I could find and put them on the field. I don't know if they'd let me do that, but that's what I'd try to do. I think there's a certain salary you have to pay them, but.
Well, I think it's kind of a closed loop, too. The owners of professional football teams.
Oh, they're like a secret society, those guys.
Yeah. They sell them to each other, and they keep it kind of a closed loop.
They all meet in a room, and they close the door, and, and they start talking about all this stuff like, hey, are we gonna be kneeling down this year? All right, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's more. Everybody sees it as just competition, between teams or owners or players or whatever. But it's not competition. They're doing a show for all of us, and we're all paying them money to do it.
Well, I think the players are really playing to win. It's the officials. Like we say, the officials are. Again, that's like professional wrestling. People say it's fake. Okay, it is, but man, we wouldn't want to live with half the injuries those guys got. I mean, I mean, it's something. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't call it fake. I'd say it's a show.
It's a show.
It is a show. And these guys do get hurt. And I mean, could you imagine getting suplexed off the top rope? I mean, my body would break in pieces.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the crazy ways that things have been going for the last 50 years. We've seen it all, and we're kind of like along for the ride. I can remember the disco days, but
Pac-Man fever, everyone had it.
Yeah, but nowadays, I look back on it. It was fun and everything for about 4 years, 5 years. But then, yes, it's over, and we're back on the trail again. So, there's been a lot of adjustments going on, and just readjusting all the time. It kind of wears me out. I get kind of tired every month or two. I got to redo my computer or upgrade my drivers.
No, I know. There's always something. It's like last week, I think it was Friday. I go to get on. I had to work, so I get home. I got maybe an hour and a half, maybe a little over an hour to get everything together when I get home. Mm-hmm. And so I work on it all week. I'm always working on this stuff. Anyways, I get on. I don't have much time. I turn on the computer. I get my board up, and my board's wiped clean. It's like there's no, all the clips are gone. I'm like, come on. And of course, I'm trying to load them, and then I got to go search for them on the computer. And by the time I got it halfway done, it was like time to start. So I guess I'm not on tonight.
I know. It's like these things. I wonder whether they're coming up and trying to trip us all up, or whether we got to just
AI, man. I think AI's already at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
AI could get in here and do whatever it wants, and it knows.
I asked AI about the South-spun fluid concept a couple nights back. We had a little conversation about it, and it didn't know about that, and it was kind of curious about it. And so I explained it to it, and then I asked it. I go, when you report back to your higher up, I go, what happens to that information? And the AI told me every 24 hours it clears its memory. So
it clears its memory onto another system somewhere.
Right. To the big system.
Everything you do online, the NSA has got copies of. Everything. Every single thing. I don't care what it is. Even when you think you're private, nobody can see what you're doing. Someone knows what you're doing.
Yeah. So at the moment, I think we're kind of all connected to this web of information, but I try to use it in the opposite direction that what you're referring to, and I try to find out more about what's going on and see if I can implement ways and means and calculations to make my life easier nowadays rather than more difficult.
Yeah,
it's incredible. 'Cause I don't think this difficulty is going to last, like you say, forever. We're just going through a
time. We're going through a I don't know, tribulation, if you will. We're being tested.
Right, developmental. It's It's developing our senses around us and making us aware of.
And basically, it feels to me like it's more of a spiritual war, and it's almost like now people have to pick a side. They have to show where they are. Are you a roach coming out of the woodwork, or are you a beam of sunshine? And I guess we're finding all that out. We have been. It's families against families. It's just like the Civil War. I mean, it's, this time it's information war.
Well, what it all comes down to, Mike, all comes down to $33 trillion deficit. If we can clear that $33 trillion deficit, we can all start over again.
Can I tell you how easy it would be to clear it? Just hit the delete button.
That's right.
That's all you got to do. Just hit the damn delete button.
That's right. The next president, all he's got to do is sign a piece of paper and it'll be gone. And that's what I'm proposing to do if I get elected to president. But you don't hear the Democrats or the Republicans talking about clearing the deficit. Never, ever. And you probably never, ever will.
That's bad words to them. That's bad, What do you mean clear it? No, we got to stay in debt. We got to keep you enslaved.
Ramaswamy's been doing his tour of Iowa live on TikTok, and I've been sending him questions. I go, Vivek, you got to clear the $34 trillion deficit or what? And he never comes back with any answers. But that's my biggest question I would ask any of the people debating on television. I'd like to ask,
Oh yeah, but they'll tell you what you want to hear. They'll say, "Oh yeah, of course we're gonna bring the deficit down. We're gonna, and they'll give you some. They'll try to explain something to you that they think you won't understand, and so they can just, oh okay, because most people do that. They don't understand nothing the person said, and they go, oh okay, I get you. Yeah, no, you didn't. Anyways, David, go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'm gonna take a break.
Oh, sure. I was just going to mention that up in Michigan this week, I heard that they're having trouble with the immigrants up there. They're breaking into houses and taken over up there.
Oh yeah. And listen, there's been young Chinese have come through. There's been. It's not just people think the border. They think just Mexico. No, they're coming through Mexico, but they're coming from everywhere, and
they're enriching the Mexicans.
And our enemies are sending their people too, and so like I say, you can have more people like the one in Rochester, New York, but I don't know if you heard about that one, David. This guy in Rochester, he fills his car with explosives, and he tried to drive through into the Eastman Kodak building, which would have killed lots of people. And just so happens an Uber driver pulled off the curb when he was coming, and he hit the car instead of hitting the building. And then the cars did blow up, and two of the passengers in the Uber were killed. The Uber driver made it, and the terrorist guy, domestic terrorist, I guess you can call him, he was in rough condition last I knew. I don't know if he died yet or not, but I mean, you're gonna see more of this. These psychopaths are.
What we got to do is keep our eyes on these nuclear facilities we've got set up all over the country. I don't know how many hundreds of them we've got set up. Any one of those could blow up and it'd be terrible. Feel like another Chernobyl. Oh. So there's a lot. We got so many things, Mike, that could go wrong, and some of them are going to start going wrong here shortly. So we got to buckle in.
I agree, David. Hang on with me. Let's take this break. Folks, you're tuned in to The Last Frequency. I'm Mike Vara with David Kaas. And we're just rambling through and trying not to get kicked off of places. But, all truth, all the time. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Columbia. Excellent.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
You're listening to the VARA Network. Hey, frequencies of all walks of life. Keep up with all things TLF radio by joining our mailing list. Go to the bottom of the homepage and fill in the form. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So sign up now.
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
You heard me. Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
For all your bumper sticker needs, just click on the Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers banner located at the foot of my website, www.lastfrequency.com. That's Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers and more.
You're making me crazy.
You're listening to The Last Frequency with Mike Vara.
Do you want to hear the truth about the far out, the out of the box, and the things that go bump in the night? Do you want to explore the mysteries of time and space, conspiracies and politics, and everything else that the mainstream media won't tell you? Then tune in to The Last Frequency Radio, the show that covers it all with host Mike Vara. He will take you on a journey of discovery and enlightenment and challenge your assumptions and beliefs. Whether it's UFOs, paranormal, Bigfoot, forbidden archaeology, or government cover-ups, he will bring you the facts and the opinions that matter. The Last Frequency Radio is live weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern on lastfrequency.com. You can also listen to past shows on our website and Rumble. And don't forget to check out the shop for some cool merchandise. The Last Frequency Radio is your source for the ultimate truth. When all communications go down, this just may be your last frequency.
This is The Last Frequency.
You are the resistance.
from the great Southeast, in the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina. You're listening to The Last Frequency with your host, Mike Vara. To get questions to Mike, just go to the portal page on the website or give a call at 803-369-3629. Now, here is Mike Vara.
This is The Last Frequency. I'm Mike Vara with David Kaas. He is my guest tonight, and we are talking about, quite a bit, really. We've gotten into a few areas, immigration being one of them. I would say illegal immigration on top of that, but anyways, if you've got something you'd like to add tonight, you may do so. It's quite easy. Just go to lastfrequency.com and leave a message in the portal. So that's one way. The other way, well, there's several ways. You can also hit me up in the YouTube chat. I might see it. I might not. No guarantees. Also, I know we're over on Facebook too. So, excuse me, you can find us over there as well. Take your pick. Or you could call in 803-369-3629. If you do, though, I ask you got to stay on topic. We can't get into jabs and all that stuff. Not here, not tonight. That's a Saturday thing. And so once in a while I'll do The Last Frequency just over on Rumble, just so we can get in. So if I get a guest along those lines for this show, and it's not going to be on YouTube, so just for the record, because it'd be a waste to have it on YouTube, because they would just can me. And, you work, you build up the channel like I did originally, the first channel I had. Build it up, got tons of subscribers and stuff, and then they jam you. Whoop, sweep it right out from under your feet. Quite frankly, I get tired of it, so we'll see. Last go around for me here. I know I've said that before, but I do mean it this time. Yeah, okay. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. The website, lastfrequency.com. Go on over, become a member, be informed, inform others. And, Friday I have Richard London joining me. So that's Friday's show, Richard London. He's going to be joining me from overseas. And we will get into some very interesting areas. All right, David, we're back, my friend. So how's your run going? Your run for president?
Well, we've only had for the last two cycles. That was 8 years ago. We had an open ticket available that anybody could run on. Otherwise, we've always had parties. You have to adhere to the party rules in order to get anywhere in the party, even get nominated for the presidency. So we haven't had an availability of anybody getting on a ticket until 8 years ago. And these last two cycles, I've been running on the ticket nationofchange.org. However, since 1973's installation of the voting machines, we've had selected individuals for offices rather than duly elected people getting into offices since 1973. It doesn't happen all over the place, but it does happen in enough places that they've infiltrated and gotten themselves into offices. And I wonder how people like Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters and Nadler, how those guys stay in their positions for like 30, 40 years. What's Joe Biden done all his life? But, been a politician. This is how they do it. They've been scamming us. They don't get elected every time. They just pull the ballots. It's amazing. It's amazing, Mike, what's happened.
Yeah. Well, YouTube ain't gonna like that.
Well,
it's their buddies. I mean,
it's the truth, And we're not calling anybody bad or good or anything. We're just saying, well, this is what's happened to us all. We've been sold above steer, so to speak. And I just want everybody to know this. But that's part of what I'm proposing for my presidency is, all will be known, all facts will be told, and it has to do as much with what we're eating and drinking every day as far as what's good for us, what's bad for us. Microwave ovens produce the only thing that can give you stomach cancer. They reverse the spin of the food in the microwave, so when you eat it, you're giving yourself stomach cancer. I had a cousin that died from stomach cancer, and it's just terrible. It's like we always thought that everything was rosy and good, but it's just not, and we almost have to police it for ourselves.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get you back up on camera here, David. For some reason, it's not letting me. Let me try. Okay, we got that. Wait a minute. I'll get it. There we go. Now I got you. It acts up. I don't know. It does stupid things. I got you now. You're
okay. I didn't know I clicked mine off and on.
No, it was on my end. It was. It's the program that I use. Sometimes it doesn't like to cooperate.
Well, one of my proposals, Mike, is to build on the Mississippi River a hempcrete pyramid, and then put that gold box back inside, which will create free electricity for the whole planet once again. Wouldn't that be nice? We could even Elon Musk could make his cars with much smaller batteries in them because they'd be working off this free current that'd be in the air. But that's what we really do need is free electricity to run everything from your televisions, your refrigerators, to your automobiles.
Oh, I agree. That would be nice. Yeah, I'm not big on the battery powered cars though. I think keep that for the golf carts. I do have a friend who has one. He's got a car that does both, and I mean, I guess I'm okay with that. But
this would be a free electricity, and it'd be around for everybody and all over the world. And this is the way it used to be in Egypt, even before it was called Egypt. It was where they put up that main pyramid in Giza, and they had that gold box inside. But what's inside the gold box, Mike, is a piece of stone that's been electrically treated by high voltage DC current for an extended period of time. And what it does is it takes all the weight out of the stone, and it also makes it a receptacle for universal energy to come through. And they put that in the gold box, and boy, I'm telling you, that thing radiates some energy. And put the lid on it, and when you put it off, if the positive spin goes into the water, Mississippi, and it goes down to the Gulf of Mexico, where you have resurrected a giant crystal there that electricity goes into, the negative spin charge, and it goes off the planet then. And that's what they used to have in Egypt a long time ago, and then they'd have the crystal in the middle of Atlantis, which is on the western edge of the Sahara Desert now. There's a 3-ring area there, about 25 miles as wide as a circle, and that was the area that had Atlantis on it, where they had the crystal in. But Joseph tells me that they found the crystal and have recovered it, and it's in their possession now. So that's what we're going to do if we if I get elected, one of the things we're going to do.
All right. And what about peace in the Middle East? Or are you just going to stay out of all that?
Well, you know, that's a tough one to get involved in. You know, all their problems seem to be.
We got to solve our own problems before we worry about
exactly.
other people's. Yeah, you're right.
We got big problems right here. We got the same problems on a different scale that they got. You know, but it's the same problems. It's religion. It's all about religion, Mike. And these religions don't really represent or teach anything, or all they do is take our money from us and keep babbling the same stuff all the time. So it's like, you know, it wasn't satisfying for me to stay as a Catholic any longer at 30. I had to break out and join something else.
Hey, David, a listener suggests that, well, first off, he says you're a great guest. He says, and I should have you on Saturday on the Uncensored Show.
Well, I have to work on Saturday, Sundays.
Oh, yeah. So that's a little rough for you.
Yeah, at the moment.
Sometime we could do a recorded segment for that show. I mean, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
not this week, but we'll work on it.
Well, I don't like to do anything that's that outside the box, you know, or really. I mean, there's so many things that people have been griping about for the last 5-6 years that it's like I'm trying to focus on fixing things, not wrecking things anymore. You know, it's like there's got to be solutions to these problems that we're all experiencing.
I want to say I don't know if you can wreck things any worse than they are, but I know better. I know that things can be much worse, and they probably will be. So,
well, look at we're so used to food prices. Food used to be the most affordable thing in our budget in a month's time.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. I went in the store, bought one meal. You know what I bought? I bought raviolis. I bought some stuff to make sauce. I mean, it wasn't much, which usually cost me maybe $19 or something. I paid almost $50. I mean, we're talking about a bag of raviolis, a couple jars of sauce, and some frozen meatballs. I mean, because it was going to be a quick dinner, you know. I like to make it myself, honestly, and do it up from the morning to dinner time on a Sunday, you know. Let that sauce boil with the sausage and the meatballs in it and all that good stuff. But, you know, so this is going to be a quick one. I said, God darn, like $47.
Like, I've been eating beans and rice and corn for about 3 months here. And I've learned how to do it really, really good, you know, with the peppers and the corn tortillas and whatnot, and a little lettuce, a little tomato,
you know,
or whatever.
And the corn, you can actually wash it off and use it again. I'm just kidding.
But just because the meat out here is getting ridiculous.
Oh, you're not kidding. Hamburg? Try to get some ground beef?
No, thank you.
Good Lord Almighty. Yeah, it's bologna. You know, you could try to get some bologna. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I buy a whole cooked chicken for $6.50 at Costco, and that's the best deal in town because it's hot, it's right out of the oven, and it tastes great.
Yeah. Well, the chicken's cheaper. You can still get chicken reasonable.
I eat chicken all the day long. But other than that, my diet has just changed, you know, and but the gasoline prices are going up again, you know. It's like the stock market. It goes up, down, up, down.
The rent is ridiculous. God help anybody.
Well, nobody can buy a house anymore either. No, there's no first homeowners, starters, you know, deals for them anymore or anything. So all the homeowners industry is like completely collapsed. You know, when people don't talk about it, then you figure they must be hurting, you know. It's like all the for rent places all over LA here. You go down any street in town, there's just like all these boarded up buildings, you know. They used to be shops, little private shops, you know. selling whatever, but it's not the same anymore, and we don't have anybody talking about it. The news people on Fox are still talking the talk of like it's a great day and everybody's happy and but it's not.
Yeah, and they're having their jokes and making their fun and
right. But
they're not. They're right up there with the rest of them. Fox is nothing special.
Yeah. But it's interesting that I'm wondering, will we have a chance at a ballot box this in 1 year, in 11 months from now? Because if there's no change in the system, if they still use the computerized system, it's all a sham. So one of them will get it, and we'll see another 4 years.
Well, like I say, I'll just I'll sit and wait and see. I mean, that's all you can do. Wait and see what happens. I mean, the people who have the power to fix it need to fix it, and if they don't, I already said a long time ago what I think needed to happen, but I can't say it here. I'll get kicked off. So,
well, I've read on the net that Russian television is telling its viewers in Russia that Nemesis Nibiru is expected in 2026. That's 2 years after this year's election. So, before the next cycle comes around, supposedly this planet's going to flip 70 degrees and we're going to have a big old mess over here, and there'll be a big mess over there.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's start getting this planet flipping and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then it'll be like the tough will get rough and the rest will get going.
Just get your surfboard and wait for the water to come your way. That's all.
No. I got better plans. I got bigger plans.
Well, I don't know what kind of plan you can have if the planet flips, because the ocean's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I figure as far as what's between me and the Creator, I'll be here just as long as He wants me to be, and when it's time to go, it's time to go.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and I wouldn't doubt it if we kick the bucket and we go to cross over, and they say, "Oh, that's going to be $3,000, please." It's like, what do you mean?
Oh.
It's like, all the politicians that passed away, they had to go somewhere, right? So now they're over there, probably took over the other side. You're gonna get over there, you're gonna have to pay to get in the door.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think things are still changing, things are still coming, things are still happening, and there's still more to be learned.
When you get older, like you learn to just, right now I'm trying to expand my mind and learn the things that I'm going to take with my consciousness with me, things that I want to know. I want to know about extraterrestrial life because I know it's out there. I want to know about the afterlife, but I don't want to go there yet. But I want to know about it. So, I want to know about a lot of things, dimensions and time travel and all these things, and I just want to know as much as I can. It's all about learning. I watch stuff on TV, or not TV, but on the TV. Now, it's like a smart everything now. But the only stuff I watch is stuff that's teaching me stuff. I don't watch like your, Jerry Springer's and all that bull crap. If I watch something, it's a documentary. It's telling me about something about history or about the universe or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I like to watch those Ancient Aliens programs where they go down to Yucatan and whatnot.
Yeah. And now on
Mayan sites.
I can't believe anybody would pay for cable TV or satellite TV anymore. Why would you? I mean, you get one of these TVs, you go on Roku, you go watch just about anything. I mean...
Yeah, well, it really does open the field up to a really hot new channel coming on the set and just blowing all the other ones away. With the reports, with the factual data, with the timely subject matter, and with all the stuff that everybody really wants. but nobody's getting from any source.
Well, Roku was trying to
sell.
Roku kept messaging me and calling me, as a matter of fact, about getting a channel over there. But it's a nice thought, but I'd have to have funding coming in for that because that's not cheap. And
No, yeah.
but they they've been you'd be perfect. We get okay, well give it to me free then, but they're not going to do that. So
they should, yeah.
I wish they would, but they're not going to. You're gonna have to. They said, I mean, it was a $99 introductory fee, right? So you get in there with that, and then you get hit with the real. So now I don't know exactly how much it was, but it's certainly not going to be $100 a month. It's going to be probably a few hundred, at least a month to do something like that.
Well, that's just it. They're looking at you, and you should tell them, hey, you got to scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours.
Well, hey, though, I was in communications with Pluto TV, though, and I was pitching them my show, and that because I see that they do stuff like that over there. And so they said that they get everything together and send it into their corporate office, and they're going to take a look at it, and who knows? They'll pick up the programming. You don't have to pay over there if it's something good and they want and Pluto TV they got all kinds of stuff over there, just like all the other ones. And I know Glenn Beck's over there, Newsmax is over there. So there's a lot of Steve Bannon's over there. I mean, you can get them all. Except Alex Jones ain't over there, but he's a little too much, I guess. But
he's quieted down. He's half of what he was 10 years ago.
He reminds me, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but he reminds me of Cartman from South Park. The little fat one that goes, man. That. Yeah. Oh yeah, when he gets going, he sounds. I mean, they put him side by side. Anyway,
everyone has their own preference for. Reporter of.
Oh, I like Alex. It's just sometimes I can only listen to him for so long though, because I mean he's right. He gets me hyped up. I'll start walking around yelling and screaming in the house. It's like, okay, I gotta turn this because I'm ever going out and choking a neighbor or something.
Right.
But
right.
They're trying to ruin him, but I won't get into that either right now. But anyways.
Yeah. Well, keep an eye on the political what's going on the television. That's about the only place we know from the reports. But I've just heard so many different states have been questioning their ballot counts, their illegal voting, their everything under the sun. It's just to the point where they got to say halt. You show up with your photo ID or you don't get a ballot. That's it. And we're going to hand count them all under camera coverage because that's the only way we can know who gets the election.
Well, again, we'll wait and see. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the system. I never have, and I definitely don't now. I mean, look at when Ron Paul was running too. I mean, he got run right off the stage. And he would have been great. He would have been just fine.
Who do you think's making all the presidential decisions?
Again, I don't know if you've ever watched. Here I go, another show. If you ever watched, you probably haven't. But Gotham, it's called. It was a little series that was going for a little while.
No.
Based on Batman. It was Gotham.
No.
And, I was into the superheroes as a kid, so occasionally I'll watch some of that stuff, but not. But anyways, but they had, there was a secret society that basically owned Gotham. And, they every now and then they'd wipe it out. They'd destroy everything because they'd want to start over from scratch. Kind of sounds familiar, don't it? And, and they would run things like they would choose who the mayors were going to be, and if they didn't like them, they get rid of them. And the billionaires and stuff, they had, they owned all of them. And it was, and they'd wear these masks and have these little meetings. And it just, pretty similar to what really happens. But Yeah, check it out sometime.
Keep the crowd distracted.
Yeah, keep them, and they do a good look. I used to go and say, oh, everyone's got their 350 channels. Now they got millions of them. I mean, you got hundreds of thousands of apps, and on each app is hundreds of thousands of channels, and it turns into millions. I mean, by the time you look through everything, it's time for bed. You've watched nothing. You've watched a bunch of flickering.
Exactly. Well, getting back to the question, who's running things at the White House? I hear that it's Barack Obama is running things.
Well,
I'm not sure, but the party, otherwise is running things. Whoever.
Oh no, you're right. It is the Barack show, no doubt about it. But there's others involved too. But I mean, again, probably not the place for that right now. They'll get upset about their buddies. You start talking about their buddies. But yeah, you're right. I don't disagree. Tom's right in the chat. You do need to come on Uncensored. We can really go to town with it. Or we'll plan a show one night and we'll do it just on Rumble, and then you can talk about anything you want. And,
Yeah. Well, there'll be more to talk about then. I'm sure.
There will. It's going to get interesting this year. That's like when you give your 2-week notice. You're leaving. You care a little less about the boss, what the boss thinks of you.
Yeah.
At that point.
Whose feathers you ruffle.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you go out the door.
So, David, on a kinder note, before we're done here tonight, what is your take on disclosure? I've talked with Steve Bassett. I've talked with a friend of his. Dorsey was his name? I forget now. Talked with Dr. Rand about it the other night. What's your thoughts? Where are we?
Well, I found out, I know from Phil Snyder's videos on the YouTube that the gray greens have been here since at least 100 years, maybe longer, and they've instrumented the digging and the instrumentation and the deep underground military bases, all connected by tube shuttles. We've got like 130 of them in this country, and they're down there. And these are the gray greens are from the planet Zeta Reticulum originally, and they're the ones that have been doing the cattle mutilations for 50 years, and they're also created this adrenochrome from taking children and draining their pineal glands with hormonal extract. That's where a lot of the children are disappearing to. These are the gray greens, and I guess they're working in tandem with the reptilians that are underground here. The reptilians were here before the human element even landed here a long time ago. So there's a few of them here, but they don't really come out at night, so to speak. But they're underground too. But those are the negative ones. The positive ones are the benevolent Galactic Federation of Planets that are here over our heads, whizzing around. Thousands of them, and they're here, and they're here to help us out when the passing of Nemesis Nibiru happens in 2026, and they're going to assist us in ways we can't even imagine now. But they're here to help us through this tumultuous time and get us over the hump in time and space, and hopefully welcome in the new beginning.
Yeah, well, every good thing must come to an end, and but then it starts over. So we'll see.
Right. Well, that's what it is. We have a positive and a negative aliens here, and we all got to realize that it's not just one or the other, and you got to be careful. And the good guys are serious. They come a long way, and they're here to do the right thing. But they don't horse around. You know,
That's
they don't
right.
go out. They don't go out and get drunk. In other words.
All right, well, David, if we're getting near the end here, anything else? We got about another 5, 6, 7 minutes, but anything else you want to get out? By all means, go ahead. YouTube channel or anything like that.
Well, I'm on the YouTube channel under David Kaas. You just go there and hit on the search bar and click to my channel. I'm also on Rumble under David Kaas. You can go there and see the 2 videos on the new molecular self-spun fluid concept, and I have the new wands and crystals, magnetic wands and crystals on both channels as well. So Rumble or YouTube, or I don't really do MeWe or Gab that much anymore.
I don't bother with Gab because Gab, for me, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, it's just dead. It's like nothing.
Right. Well, when it came out, it could have been good, you know. Same with MeWe. It could have been big, but these are just, you know, they fall by the wayside.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. You know, MeWe's okay. I don't get a lot going there either. I mean, it's still the usuals: Facebook, Twitter. You know that, and now you got TikTok and Instagram, and you know these. They get a lot more action, even though you know. I think X is probably the best one because it's not censored. But
right.
Facebook censors everything. It's like, you know.
Well, they are for the moment until they get sold to somebody else.
Yeah, something will happen maybe eventually.
Yeah, exactly, they'll be sold, and somebody else will open it up, just like Elon did with Twitter. But well, thank you, Mike, for having me on tonight. I'm always here, and I always have something newsy to talk about. But I want to send you my book as soon as I get them, and so I'll get an address from you on the net.
Yes, sir. And you do that, and I'll make sure I show it to everybody. We'll get it out there. But thank you very much, David. I appreciate you being here tonight.
Have a wonderful evening, sir, and a great tomorrow.
Oh, yes, I will certainly try. All right. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too.
All right, folks. So that's David Kaas, and he is, again, he's on YouTube. You could find him there. Anyways, but he really wanted to get into the political thing and the realm and the fraud and all that, and boy, I hate telling somebody they can't, you know, but we can't over here. It's, you know, they get their, like I say, their panties in a bunch. And, you know, that's why I got uncensored. Uncensored's for all that and a bag of chips. Here, I want to keep it more for expanding the mind. The other show is for waking people up and, you know, pounding the truth in their head. This one's more about, yes, getting to the truth, but around other realms and other things. Things that I think in the long run are going to be way more important than who's president or New World Orders or any of that stuff. Yeah, it's important now because we're in the physical world. Once we get to the other side, you know, we'll see who's got the power. But, yeah, so I'll be back with you on Friday, and I've got a good show planned, so make sure you join me. Saturday, uncensored, midnight on Rumble. Only on Rumble you get it, or on the VARA network. Which, folks, again, I'm having thoughts about possibly going strictly video. You know, now with the show, I'm debating. I'm thinking about it still, but we'll see. Anyways, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I want to thank each and every one of you, wherever it is you may be, around the globe, in the chat room, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on wherever the heck you are, Facebook. Thank you for tuning in, especially if you're over there on the VARA network. Keep your eyes posted to the sky because you never know what you might see. And keep your ears posted to this broadcast because you never know what you might learn. Good night, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of The Last Frequency. Good night.